Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe below to get all of my new videos and hit the bell icon to make sure they hit your notifications as soon as you log into YouTube. Thanks. And this same reason is why our elites and our establishment and our neoconservative class, they really hate Donald Trump. There's a lot of excuses as to why people don't like Donald Trump. They don't like his philosophy. They don't like MAGA. They don't like America First. And the reason is many things, to be fair, and Trump has not helped himself in this, area a lot. But the reason that no one talks about is that he is the peace president. He does not like foreign interventionism. He does not like adventurist policy across the world where we're toppling governments and everything else. And Trump has had slip-ups and issues there, particularly as it relates to Israel. But by and large, he is far and away the most peaceful United States president in the past at least 30 years. At least 30 years. He is now with this, I want to talk about this ceasefire in a second between Hamas and Israel. He has now solved and mediated 8 wars in less than a year. It's crazy. It's crazy. Less than 8 wars in as many months, really. Took office in January. I'm recording this, 9 months, recording this in October. Basically a war a month he's ending, which is crazy. And so this, I don't want to get into too much of the details on the Israel-Hamas ceasefire, but everyone is saying correctly, and this is right, that it's an absolute miracle of a foreign policy achievement, particularly being and given that all of the pressure that Trump is under from the Israel First crowd, inside of his own administration, and given a tone shift that he's been signaling in the Middle East since May. A lot of people are focused on really what happened over the past weekend. They should, with the release of all the hostages and the stopping of the conflict between Israel and Gaza. Of course, that's all wonderful. But there was a tour that President Trump went on earlier this year, I believe in May, when he went over he visited, I think, Saudi Arabia, visited Dubai, visited a lot of, the Gulf states over in the Middle East. And he had this extraordinary speech that he gave at some conference. I forget which country it's in, so forgive me. But he had this, I highly encourage you to look it up, but where he did the one thing that no American leader has ever done, ever, since this whole thing kicked off with neoconservatism infecting the federal government. And that one thing that was so extraordinary and proves that all this stuff about Donald Trump being this egotistic, and he is very egotistical, but like this maniacal whatever person who wants to hurt people and stuff, he apologized. Donald Trump apologized to the Middle East. He said, hey, we did evil onto you with all of these wars, with overthrowing all these governments, with, basically forcing you at the point of a gun to do what we wanted to do. He said, I'm really sorry about that. On behalf of my country, I'm so sorry about that because we really hurt you guys. And he's right, by the way. And I remember just seeing the reactions of, oh my God, the gasp of people oh my God, he's cozying up to Qatar and he's doing all these things with the Saudis and blah, blah, blah. It's okay. Are they perfect? No. But are we perfect? No. Trump is a builder. That's what he's done his whole life. He's a real estate guy. He's a casino guy. He's a hotel guy. I stayed in the Trump Tower one time. It's very nice. But he does not want to destroy things. It's not in his nature, which makes him inherently opposed to neoconservatism, which is built on breaking things, on forcing your way into an issue. And so, as I mentioned, for all the reasons why our elites hate Trump, they hate the way he talks, they hate the way he tweets, they hate the way that he says things and this, they really hate him over his foreign policy. And you could tell in terms of the Israel and Hamas ceasefire. Obama didn't congratulate him. Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken, who basically caused all of the wars that happened under their watch, basically said the peace panel was actually, our idea. No, it wasn't. Stop it. It wasn't. And so people on both, the left and the right, Mark Levin, Qatar, all these things about, all the weenies on the left and the right freaking out about this. It's just, it's so it's so strange. It's so genuinely so bizarre that this is even a talking point. And so, and the reason why it's bizarre and the reason why we should really be questioning these people is that, why would you hate someone for stopping bloodshed, for stopping, the genocide that's happening in Gaza, women and children getting blown up and shot by the IDF? And by the way, all of the people in Israel who are very unhappy with what's going on in Gaza that no one talks about either because there's no footage of that. And there was this amazing clip. So Kamala Harris is on her book tour right now. I saw something on X a couple weeks ago where it was one of the funniest tweets I think I've ever read in my entire life, where someone said, as your fantasy football punishment for losing, you should have to buy a ticket VIP to a meet and greet with Kamala Harris and go to one of her book tours. And by the way, she's crushing on this book tour. Like, she's doing really well. Sold out arenas, selling tickets for like $2,000. Book is flying off the shelf. It's a legitimate bestseller. So, good for Kamala Harris. I mean, hey, she wants to sell a book. She just, ran for president, wants to sell a book, wants to run for president maybe again. You go. I don't care. And so sell your books. Get it all out. So the reason why, but before I get into this, so she was there. There was this clip. I believe she might have been, I know Hillary Clinton, I think, zoomed into one of her things, but she was talking with somebody. I don't know who she was talking specifically with, or if we know the person at all, or if she was just talking, but there was a massive breakout of protest in the back of an arena. She was doing a really large, like, amphitheater area. And this young woman hops up from the back left. You guys can look this up. It's a really, really wild clip. And she basically yells, like, you're committing the genocide. Like, this is all your fault. Like, Gaza's burning because of you. Like, you're a war criminal, all this kind of stuff. And Kamala just snaps and she's like, no, like, it's not my fault, blah, 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 blah. Which, of course, that woman is right. Like, she's very much right. Because, like I said, there were, like, her speech, by the way, and one of my favorite fun facts of the last, year or so, her speech at the DNC, where she accepted the nomination for the Democrat presidency, or the presidential nominee on behalf of the Democrat Party, was written by John Bolton, who wants every war in the Middle East. And so he wrote all that stuff, and she was very hawkish and very this and very whatever. And I was like, oh boy, if this lady gets into office, we're going to be at war with the entire world. And we would have been. So thank God that she did not win for that reason specifically, among many other reasons. But going back to Trump on this, and particularly in the aftermath of the Israel and Gaza ceasefire, the real reason why our elites and our establishment hate Donald Trump so much is that he is a throbbing middle finger to all of their policies. So I've talked about this multiple times on the show, but Trump's sin, quote unquote, to the people in our political class was not that he broke anything. He didn't break American politics. But Ben Shapiro had this, this analogy is still so true to this day. Trump was not the person who killed politics. He was the person that pointed out it was dead and acted as the coroner to take the body away. So Trump's sin was not that he somehow broke American politics. He didn't. But he pointed at all of the other things that everybody else broke, both on the left and the right. And now he's trying to fix it. There's the hilarious thing he always says about, like, they broke it, Trump's going to fix it, like, whatever it's going to be. And that's not wrong, by the way. It's not wrong. Because everybody knows that deep down, the people that perpetuated this death cult, which is what it is. It's hilarious because Douglas Murray wrote a book called Democracies and Death Cults about the war in Gaza. And Hamas was the death cult, which I'm not saying they're not. They certainly are. But it's hilarious that he also wrote a book about neoconservatism and why we need it. That's literally the title of the book. You can look it up. And neoconservatism, by definition, is a death cult as well. And so everybody knows on this front that the people who perpetuated this death cult onto the world through American military intervention is evil. They're evil people. Like all the people in the Bush administration that conducted this, they're evil people. All the people in the Obama administration, the Biden administration, the first Trump administration, they're evil people. Evil. And Trump is just the only one, again, with the balls to say it out loud. Why are we funding NATO? The Iraq War was a mistake. How dare you say that? How dare you say that the Iraq War was a mistake? Well, it's like, it was. It was, though. Like, are we not allowed to talk honestly about it? Answer, no. We are not allowed to talk honesty about it. And this is where, a lot of people are objecting to this whole, peacemaker president, quote unquote, sort of thing. And I love, by the way, that Trump is branding himself as the peacemaker president, because in doing so, he's so good at branding in general. He's done this so well for his entire life, and even so much so in political terms, because it points out who the real enemies are, who his opposition is, who the opposition of the American people is. And who is that? The people who want war, the people who want destruction, the people that want death. Because that's what these people want. If you want war, you want people to die, period. If you cheerlead a war, you want people to die. You cannot have war without death. They are not interchangeable. They are completely interrelated. You want things to be destroyed. You want all of that. And what we're seeing clearer than ever right now, is that Trump genuinely cares about life. And not only life, but about people living well. Like, he wants people to prosper. That's why he's so bullish on the Middle East. And by the way, does he have conflicts of interest with real estate there? Yes. That's why he sent Steve Witkoff over there. That's why he sent Jared Kushner over there. So is that corrupt? Absolutely, that's corrupt. And I don't approve of that. But I do think that he wants the Middle East and all the massive oil money they have over there. He wants those people to live well. And he should want people to live well. I want people in the Middle East to live well. I don't want them living in, this hellhole with all these terrorist groups running countries and a bunch of things. Like, I don't want that for people. No one does. Well, some people do, which I mentioned earlier, but most people don't. And there was a very revealing comment. I believe it was after Trump got shot, and Tim Dillon had Alex Jones on a show. And Alex Jones had one of the smartest observations of Trump that I'd ever heard, was that, he basically said, look, think of what Trump's business was before he got into politics. Casinos, vacation resorts, golf courses. Like, he wants people to he wants to be Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. He wants to be Al Shervich, where he's dancing on the golf course, and he's got the music, he's got, hot people around him and stuff, and he's drinking. And Trump doesn't drink, but he's drinking and having fun, and people are, they're laughing and everything else. Like, we should be running laps around this. This is, and that is the ethos. That is Trump's philosophy on this stuff. He wants people to live well because he likes to live well. Trump loves luxury, and he wants people to love luxury. He wants people to live a luxurious life. Go play a round of golf. Go take a vacation. Go roll some dice at the casino. Hey, whatever. And that's why they hate Trump so much, the neocons and the political establishment. Because not only has he pointed out that their philosophy sucks, but he's pointed out that his philosophy is better. Mutual deal-making, art of the deal. Everybody's happy. Everybody's rich. And that's what we should be rooting for. I like when people are prosperous and they can raise their families in a safe environment. And we all should. And it's so refreshing to see that take precedent in center stage. It's a much overdue, very, very long overdue way of conducting business in the government, which is amazing. It's absolutely amazing to see happen in real time.